Welcome to the show. For tonight, we have a guest. His name is Chase Kyle Loza. I'm so excited to have you here in this interviewing 101. Thank you for accepting my invitation. I am glad that I have this opportunity to interviewing you, the handsome and artistic person I have ever know. And yeah, before that, introduce yourself first to the viewers for tonight. So tell me about yourself.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Chase Kyle Loza, and I'm a currently student, an art student in theater arts specifically. And my passion is to dance and also to write a story in Wattpad or in Notepad, and I publish it in Wattpad. That's it. Thank you.
So now I have some questions that the viewers want to know about you. So these questions I want to ask you. Uh, it it's about tips and what are you passionate about. I am really now excited to heard your um, to heard your answers for all of the questions that I've been asked you. So let's start. So first is, are you
Yeah,
ready? Yeah, are you ready na? Yeah, are you ready?
Fred. I'm quite nervous, but
Yeah,
yes, I'm ready.
I know
I'm
you
quite
can.
because it's English.
Yeah, I know you can. You can do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go,
First
lad.
question. What do you desire most in your life?
In my life, I'm desired or desirable with to achieve my dreams and to be successful writer as I am. And I know that it's hard to fulfill, it's hard to achieve it, but if you try and try, you will be succeeding it. And I want my playwright or I want my scripts to publish and to present on TV or in theater. And that's what
Yeah, so beautiful answer that it's your desire, your most desire. Is it your passion too?
I think writing stories or writing novels or playwrights is my passion too because I've been doing it since my grade 8 and my play was presented as a theater play or play in our school. And in my senior high days in PLB, one of my first novel is being presented as a play because it's about Greek mythology. And so I'm very proud that my play was being presented, and I think that this is my passion.
I am glad that you already know what is your passion, diba? Because some other people doesn't know what is their passion about. Eh. They are seeking and discovery themselves. So, what motivates you to do that? What motivates you to?
Actually, what I'm motivated to do that thing because I am capable of doing my poems. I started writing my poems and watching every series that I like in Netflix or in other website that presented series or each episode and it inspired me to do a writings that composes episodes or chapters. That's why I'm motivated to do it because that's it. That the credential that producer give to the writers that they presented a beautiful script, beautiful playwrights, and beautiful stories. That's what that's the thing that I inspired because I want to become a famous writer and all my playwrights. I'm confident with my writing, so I want it to present it to everyone and to read it because it's not all about me. It's all about the story of everyone. Yes, that's
Wow. Are you inspiring to be a producer one day? Right? To be a
yes.
writer. Wow. So, yeah. So how happy you are when you do the things you are passionate about?
My level of happiness is very high. I'm really happy when I write these writings because when my first time to write a script or a story, it's kind of hard for me because it's all about me, and we didn't know what life stocks for us. And when I started to create a story about others or about what I see on my surroundings, it's very happy for me because I observe them and I love observing them and releasing the beautiful stories of others to everyone.
That's how the writer is, eh? Because you doesn't think about yourself. You also think about the other people because you want to write a story about other people, about the life of others. So yeah, it's amazing. So what keeps inspiring or motivating you to
Yeah.
continue your path in this kind of field? So what keeps inspiring or motivating you to continue your path in this kind of field?
Um, the thing that I motivate or that inspires me to do or to continue in writing is the more that I observe, the more that the other people tells a story about me, or the more that what I see or what I see in nature or in surroundings, that's the thing that I inspired because the more that they see or the ideal idea that I get from my surroundings, the more that I create others that I have a continued story to tell to me.
Wow. So what are the three most topics that you love when writing a story?
When writing a story, I love the three topics. Then that three topics that I presented now is the only topics that I have actually, and I think that's the masterpiece. I'm confident that my writings are masterpiece. So the third one is romance or love. The second one is thriller or horror stories. And the first one or the most genre that I'm capable to write is about mystery. I love mystery. I love to boost the minds of my readers and to think what's gonna happen or what will about
Yeah, it's so very amazing. It's yeah, it's wonderful that you have those passionate about with these three topics, no, right? With these three genre of movies, right? It's the horror, yeah, romance horror, and the last one is about It's about mystery. Yeah. So, is it based on your own experience or are you inspired by the story of other people?
Actually, my first writings or my first story that I published is all about myself and all about my thoughts or my own opinions about something. But when the time and I realized that I didn't stop with myself. I don't want to stop within the topic of myself. I want to explore more. So that's the time that I inspired for other stories. That every time that they will open up something to me, I'm inspired of writing story about it. So I think it's both that I know that based on my experience and based on them because my experience is the start of everything. So I consider it as I think that it's both that I'm inspired with my own story. The story that I write is based on my story and the based on the people that I'm connected with. Because I don't want to stop within myself, within the topic of myself. And now that my perception about writing is telling the story of others to deliver to the viewers. So I want that now that every people that I'm connected or every people that I'm talking to is being part of my story. And I think that your question is based on my experience or inspiring the story by the others. It's both because my experience is the start of everything that I write. And getting more inspired by the others is really matters. And both topic or both experience, maybe me, my experience or other people's experience is the matter of my story. And that's
Yeah. It's a matter of inspiring other people based on what you wrote. Yeah. So, how do you feel when you share your story to other people? How do you feel?
when sharing my own experience, I'm very shy because I'm very nervous or scared because my life, I want my life to be secret or secretly. But once I made a story, it's being continued every time that I wrote about myself. Because it's not the thing that I don't want to share my feelings or my lesson in life or my story rather than to other people. But I want it to become private as it is. But since that I am writing my story and I'm writing my experience in it, it's the private information that I kept for a long time is being exposed. And that's okay because I'm not a Chase now, the writer Chase now, without expressing or without telling people who I am or what experience that I have.
Power.
Yes.
Yeah, power. Don't be shy to tell other people what is your own story because
Yeah.
it's at some point in our life or from other people it inspired them, right? And it will benefits them. It will gives inspiration, motivations based on your own life
Yes.
story. So yeah, so it's about love. Yeah, how about the love story that you wrote? At some point in your life, did you experience it too?
The romance or the love that I wrote is basically not mine, but some lessons or some advices that my stories have. The story itself is not mine because it's fictional, but the advices, the moral lesson that my story has, it's all mine. It's my own perception. It's all my experience, and I'm happy to share with others.
Yeah. Because sometimes, di ba, if we wrote a story, it based on our life experiences, right? So, how hard is it
That's
when the story is about breakup? How hard is it?
when yes, it's so hard to discuss because when you discuss about breakup or broke up stories in my story or romance, it's kind of moments that bringing back to you when you are there in situation there. It's so hard because when the time that you wrote that story, you it's hard to separate your own self to the writer's self. For specifically when I write that situation, I'm thinking about something more, something that everyone experiences when they break up. But the ending is it's the story or the broke up situation. It's being surrounded by my own experience, and it's so hard to separate my own perception to the story because it's a mistake on the writers that you didn't separate yourself or the thing that engagement is about focusing on your work and to separate.
It will break your heart sometimes, right? Because sometimes we relate based on our story to tell. So, have you ever experienced that the character you are describing in your own story was manifested in your real life, just like you adopt the character from the story?
Yes. That there's a time. My first novel or first story is about myself, and the other one, that my experience is in another stories, but in another words, but the story is mine. My it's happy to share with everyone, as I've said earlier, that it's happy for me to know what I experienced for or to know what moments that I have in my life. And yes, I think that myself is depicting or reflecting on my characters in my story.
Do you have things to do first before you write a story?
Yes. In creating stories, it's for everyone. In creating stories, you don't you need to research, you need to express, you need to back on the moments that you have before you're writing. You need to have an inspiration before you're writing. It's not about writing itself or writing literally. It's all about writing what your minds have, your hearts have. It's connected to each other. The pen, the ball pen you've used, or the keyboard you've used in your cell phone, and the mind and the heart is connected to each other. What you're typing or what you're writing is connected to your heart and your brain. I think that yes, that's the thing that I'm doing before I'm writing. I'm researching if it's fictional because I love, as I said, I love creating story about mystery, about fictional characters, superpowers. But when it comes to love and romance, it's all about asking asking people what they experience in growth up or in love or being in love. And that's the thing that you need to practice, that you need to research, you need to know something, you need to discover, you need to observe everything before you write this story.
Yeah. Do you have a relaxation first?
I think yes, but it's not a relaxation that you need in moving or something that inhaling or exhaling. That's not it. But the relaxation that I've been doing is closing my eyes and bringing back the moments that I observed, that I researched, and put some music that related to the genre that I've been writing.
Yeah. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. How beneficial is it to help you write a good story? Is it beneficial? How
Yes.
beneficial?
It's a super or it's a beneficiary to my writings because when you're observing, when you're expressing, it's all about it. When you writing a story, it's something that you feel safe. You feel you your feeling is having a friend that you're telling your story about. It's specifically or in real life, you're only writing. You have you not you know have a friends that in your besides or in your front that dictates what story or what letters or words that you've been writing in your story. But when you're writing, you feel that you have a friend that you've been comforted or you feel safe when you expressing the words or the problems or the experience you've shared, because it's a beneficiary for me because it makes me happy when the time I'm not that person that opens my problems to others. So that story or story making or creating stories is the one of the way that I've been doing to express what my feeling is. And that's the very, very important thing that my story helps to me to improve myself.
Wow. And it's can lessen your overthinking about the nonsense of thoughts, right? Because sometimes we,
Yes,
yeah, because sometimes we
when you
have
overthink,
negative
you
thoughts in
overthink.
our mind. Right?
Yes. Your overthinking is as I've said that overthinking and negative vibes is, and at first it's a kind of struggle or problem in writing. It's distract you in writing. The problems, the overthinking, the negative vibes. But as soon as you learn about the creating stories, as soon as you know the things that you are capable of, the overthinking, the negative vibes, the bad vibes that surrounds you, it's all the strength that you need to apply to create your story more desirable or more beautiful than before.
Can you tell me what is the best story that you think is the most beautiful masterpiece you've ever seen? Yeah.
I think I have two. I have two stories. The first one is the one that presented on my senior high day. It's entitled the goddess of sacrifices and true love. It's fictional, but it's all about romance. It's named Valentine, and this story is so good. My mind is working every time that I wrote. It's all about I continue the story of Medusa. You know what Medusa is?
Yes.
It's the creatures in the Gorgon in Greek
Yeah.
mythology that have snakes on his head. And we all know that Poseidon was raped Medusa, and the the product of their love making or the rape that Poseidon had is the one that I wrote the story, the baby. It's called Valentin. And I continue his story, become the Valentin, the the son or the daughter of Medusa, the Gorgon or the monster, is become a goddess of true love and sacrifices. And the second one is all about myself. It's the writer's story, my journey in writing. It's not a biography, but I changed my name in there, but the story is mine. How I inspired others, how I write my story, what struggles that I share with others. And I think the beautiful story, the 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 one thing that connected to my two favorite story is about engaging who you are and loving what you have and what flaws you have. And that's
Embrace and be thankful
yes,
for what you have.
embrace yourself. Yes, that's
What is what does writer's block feel? Do you feel that writer's block?
yes, I experienced
Yeah.
most of the time I experienced that respect. And it feels like it's all blank with your head. Nothing word or no words, no sentences that comes from your mind. I experienced it a lot because now that the pandemic comes, writer block is a normal thing on writers because you didn't observe something. You are stuck in your house. You limit your observation in the whole house only, but you didn't observe the surroundings, what happened outside when pandemic comes. You didn't experience it. So writer block is a normal thing when pandemics come. But before pandemic, I experienced a lot again because I didn't separate myself and separate my writing life because struggles in school, lot of words, my stories was being stuck. And when I back in writing, I didn't know what I write there and I didn't remember anything. So I can continue my writing. So you need to read it again and internalize or remember what idea you have when you're writing it. So writer's block is normal, but it's a struggle to every writers.
Um, for you, what are the reason behind of it? Why you feel that way?
The because for me as a new or as a student writer, the reason why I have that called writer's block is I can focus or I can separate my school works or my struggles in life in my writing. Every time I write, the struggles, the problems, and the school works are beside on me, and I can push them away so that my mind is being hub in ideas. The hub is all about the problems, the school works, or the deadlines. And in hub is the idea that I want. So when you are writing, the the two ideas in my head was colliding each other. So I can focus on what word or what sentence I've been writing for.
So it re, re it, so it really affects the problems or challenges in your life to your performance when you write.
I think yes. Even I've been writing for how many years since grade 8. But that thing, the challenges and the problems may affect the writings you have. Because if you can focus on writing, you can produce the beautiful story. You need to focus yourself. You need to push away all of the problems that you have in your mind before you writing story because the result of that is being your works being in waste or the readers or audience you have will have a conscious mind. That all the ideas from the stories are so mess. So you need to focus for the others, not for the writings and for the lesson that you've been shared to others.
What are the most things you can do when you encounter that problems?
I rather I rather to stop or not stop that I can continue. I didn't want to write anymore, but stop means to rest because in life we need to learn that rest is a normal thing. It doesn't mean that you are resting. You can continue the journey you have, or you can't write anymore. Resting is just a recharge for you to boost your confidence more. Like on our cell phone, we have a charger. When the cell phone is low or low battery, that's connected to ourselves. We are the cell phones in our life. So you need to charge to be 100% again and to continue working. So that's it. Resting is very important in this career because when you're resting, you will realize something that you can apply when you're writing stories. The fire that you started being being fade, that time passes by. But resting is the thing that can put it fire again and to fire and to fire and to fire again until you reach the goal you have. Resting is the best thing that I learned and I've been doing when I have a writer's block or struggles.
Yeah. I do love sleeping. I do love sleeping, and that's the reason why I can finish my assignments.
Yes.
So the last questions, yeah, tips or advice you want to share with those people who are inspiring and want to pursue this kind of field, writing. Yeah.
In creating story, I want to tell them that you, if you're not ready to write the writings or you have an initial plan that I want to be a writer, you need to pursue or you need to if you want it that way, if you have a strong desire and to desire or strong passion that you want to be a writer, you need to focus yourself first. You need to complete yourself first because if you didn't complete yourself or if you didn't focus on yourself first, the stories you will share to them is like a article that is nonsense. In creating story, it's important to know or to observe everything that you see, that you hear, you watch. It's all important. All the senses that you have in your body. It's important when you are writing because the ideas that or the words, the sentences, the advices or the lessons that you have in your story are coming from there. And it is important to socialize and to have a fully hearted writing fully hearted thing that can pursue you to achieve your writings. And it's normal. I want to tell them that it's normal to break down or to judge by others because of your work. They say that your work is so low or it's not deep, it's not good. It's okay because when you're starting, you are you are capable of that judgment and take that as a strength because if you take that as your weaknesses, the writing the writing plan or the plan you want to be a good writer, it's all mess. If you are going to take that judgment as weaknesses. And the thing that the child or the one who want to be a writer experience is to become down because of the problems. They want to share their problems to others. And that's good. That's a good start if you want to share your problems to others. But you need to know if they experience it already. Because if you want to share your problems only, it's not writing. It's like having a friend or getting a friend from your viewers, and it's not good. You need to share problems and also to share solution and to share lessons that you realize in your life, not problems only. And in writing, as I've said, resting is important and keeping your minds keeping your mind or mindset straight forward. You don't need to have a flowery words or words that can push the ideas away. There's some writers like that they want a flowery word, so much flowery words in their words, but in ending, the ideas that they want to tell in their story are pushing away because of their flowery words. So as 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 soon as you write, you need to be straightforward and focus to your character and what is the result. You know what the creative writing subject lesson is been teaching the triangle of the process that you in creating stories, the
Yeah.
exposition, which is the introduction,
Yeah, yeah.
the the climax, the falling action, and the denouement. That's very important because it's the structure of creating story. Even if your story is not a short story, it's a by chapter. You need to understand it because it helps a lot to you. And if you want to be a writer, if you are lazy or not
Yeah.
engaged with anything, you're not in writing because you need a full-hearted and strong desire to continue writing. You need to observe, you need to research. If you are lazy in researching and writing is not for you, you need to research, you need to observe, you need to know something, you need to take lessons from the creative writings lessons or academic lessons that connected to writing. You need to understand it before you pursue this writing. And lastly, the most important is you need to love your writings. You need to love your own story. Because I've been experienced that I'm the only viewer of
Mm.
my story. And that's okay. You need to love your story first before it loves by others. Yes. And it's a process that you need to understand and you need to take risk. Risk is everything. If you want to achieve something, risk is a normal thing. If you are afraid of taking a risk, it's not for you. Taking a risk is a big thing that you need to do because it's an inspiration. Because I risk this, I sacrifice everything in writing, so I need to achieve it. That's it. And try until you succeed. That's what the thing. And to take your fire consistently, you need to love yourself first before the judgment or the comments of others.
Wow. And also it's really helpful if you know in at the beginning what is your purpose, why you doing this or that. So that's the most important thing also, right? Because if you know your purpose, why you doing this or that, anyway, if you are fail, if when you failed, you always remember the at the beginning, what are your reasons, diba? Why you want to continue this path. So
Yeah.
it's wonderful, so wonderful that we get so many advices from you. And Yeah, and all thank you for your accepting my invitation. I'm so glad and thankful because we learned so much about how to write a good story, and it and at some point of our life it helps us to know what are the things that we needed to do before uh, we choose this path. So very thankful that you shared your story and your experiences in your life. So that's it for tonight. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.